April 9th, 2021. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 230 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Mike, welcome back to the You Can Bet on That studios.
Yeah.
I hope listeners...
The bathroom's open.
Yeah, I hope listeners didn't notice. We had all sorts of audio problems on the last episode.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Our Zoom call kept dropping, and I had to do a lot of editing to kind of make it.
It could be in our house, because lately, for some reason, we've been having Wi-Fi issues.
Really?
And we even have boosters to boost the signal.
Right.
But maybe something's wrong with them. I don't know. We can't figure it out.
It did seem like it was happening on your side,
Yeah,
because
well,
I haven't had trouble with other people.
90% of the time it's fine, and then sometimes we can't get any reception at our house. So
yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, anyway, welcome back. Longtime listeners probably know that even though we get free food at the casino, a lot of times we leave the casino so late that the only place that's open is the cafe, and we just don't want to spend the time sitting down, ordering, eating, that kind of thing.
Yeah, because we're only alive for a fixed amount of time.
Right.
And waiting for food is wasting time.
Yeah, exactly. We could still be at the table.
Right.
So what we usually do is we drive through some kind of fast food place on the drive home. And a lot of times it is Jack in the Box. We've talked about how the Jack in the Box in Escondido, which is a city very close to Harrah's, Southern California, the Jack in the Box on the main drag there is very efficient. The food's good. It's hot. I don't know how they do it so quickly.
Yeah, they're great. And it's usually the only thing open.
That's the other thing too, right? It's like 24 hours.
Right. There's a few taco places that are open, but that's hard to eat when you're driving. You know?
Especially, the rolled
tacos are hard to eat.
Especially when you got the salsa that you're trying to pour over the top. Yeah.
Right.
Well, we left the casino here recently earlier than usual, so we thought, we're going to have our choice of different places to go. But as we're driving through Escondido, the lines at these fast food joints were just huge.
First it was Taco Bell, huge line.
Yeah.
Line out into the street.
Yeah.
That's how long it was.
So we kept driving and driving. Finally, we said, let's just get on the freeway. We'll decide what we're going to do. And we said, hey, let's go to this Jack in the Box that's very close to where our friend Dave used to have his poker tournaments. Right? And
it's about halfway home on our freeway drive.
Yeah, and there's never anybody there.
No.
Right? And so we go through. So we pull up there and it's like, there are a few people in line. I don't know. There were like 5 cars, something like that.
There were like at least 4 in front of us.
Yeah. It's like, big deal. How long were we in that line?
Mark, we were in that line for about 50 minutes.
It was
50 minutes.
Crazy.
I started, after like 5 minutes, I'm like, we haven't moved. And then 2 cars pulled up behind us.
Yeah.
So we were kind of blocked in. And I'm starting to look at the clock. Okay, we've been here 5 minutes, and it was 50 minutes.
And it's one of those lines where you can't drive out of it, right? You're stuck.
There's a wall. There's a building on one side and a wall on the other.
And we're assuming, it's like one order got messed up or whatever. It's going to be faster to just sit here. We're certainly not going to get out of the car and ask people to back up or whatever. It'll eventually go through. Oh my gosh, absolutely terrible. So here we were actually leaving the casino a little earlier than, hey, we're going to get home at a decent time.
Right.
We got home about the same time.
I got home, and the first thing I did is tell my wife the whole story, how the night went, which wasn't real good.
That's right. It was another loser.
And, how somebody yelled at me, and how we drove home and then had to wait for 50 stinking minutes in a Jack in the Box line to get, what'd we get? A few tacos.
Yeah, tacos, a couple of sandwiches. That was basically it. Nothing extravagant, nothing weird.
And a funny thing too, the people directly in front of us, it looked like they pulled up, got their food and pulled away and never paid.
Yeah, well, it was the opposite, Mike. It looked like they paid but never got any food. Wasn't that it?
No. It was that.
Okay.
It was that they.
I like my story better, but you might be right.
No, remember that we were watching, and there was never any money exchange.
That's true.
Just they were at the window for like what seemed like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden she hands them a bag and they drive off.
You're right, because I was now you're right, because I was thinking, maybe they're giving it to you for free,
right?
Because of the wait,
such a long
right?
wait.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they said something And she did give it to him for free. We didn't say anything. We just like, oh, okay. And, and she apologized too. Oh, sorry for the long wait. What could have gone on? What can go on at, 2 a.m. at Jack in the Box to make you wait 50 minutes in line? 50 minutes.
All right.
I was fuming. I was so mad. And it was one of those odd times where I had come and picked you up at your house.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I had to drive you home.
That's right.
Which is past my house, and then drive backwards to my house.
That's right. So you were gonna be out even longer than normal. That's right. All right. Well, let's kind of move into gambling a little bit here. Why don't you tell the story about what happened this last week when one of our favorite waitresses came, and I don't know what you got, a water or a Coke or something. I got a
water.
All right, tell the story.
Well, they come around, they take your order, and we had been drinking all night. And it was towards the end, and I thought, I just need a water to hydrate a little bit. I order a water. She brings my water back, and the game is going on. So I turn around and I put $5 on her tray.
Yeah, you are always a very good tip. I mean, $5 for a water. And it's just a little bottle of water.
Yeah, I always tip $5 no matter what ever I get.
Yeah.
So I give her $5. And I turn around because something's going on in the game. And she, is getting the water off her tray to put down in the rail below me.
Yeah.
And some woman walks by with her husband. And I turn around to, acknowledge the waitress that thanks for the water. And the woman yells at me, "Tip the waitress." And she said it just like that. I mean, like, I already did. I gave her $5.
Yeah.
And poor Jessica, she was taken aback too, because she's like, oh my God, she apologized to me. I'm like, well, you don't have to apologize. You didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, because if she knows you're a good tipper, right?
Yeah. And she even says, she says, oh my God, that lady's yelling at you. You're like the best tipper I have. And I was like, why me?
I don't know.
Mark, why do people bump into my chair all the time? Why do they yell at me?
See, I don't know why you got so upset, because all she's saying is tip the waitress. Yeah. It's a good thing. If she had said don't tip the waitress, then you could get mad. But Mike, she was just saying tip the waitress. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Quite her tone. Oh my God. And I'm not joking, right? How many times do I get bumped into?
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, it's all night long. No matter what seat I'm in, people run into the back of me. After a while, I'm like, what am I doing? I mean, I pushed in as far as
it's true. It's not like you're really backed up kind of in the walkway. Just people, I don't know. They don't see you. But when they do see you, they like to talk to you.
Yeah, people love to talk to me.
Either nicely or rudely.
It's like we're cursed. No, it's not we're cursed. It's me.
Yeah,
it's all me, Mark.
No, it is.
That's why we waited 50 minutes. Had you been with like your son and you stopped there, you would have been in and out like, the normal 2 minutes.
Well, although this last weekend we did kind of trade places, because you were up and you decided to go home. And I stayed a little bit later. I was down, I don't know, $100, $200. And I thought, I'll stick around, see if I can win it back. And I stayed for another hour and ended up losing more. So it's usually the other way around.
It's usually the other way around. And what's funny is that the dealers were like, oh, you're leaving?
I know,
and I'm like, yes, I want to win tonight. And I'm up right now. And that has not been happening. So I'm leaving. And I wasn't real aggressive the whole night. I was gun shy, really.
Yeah, really. And you still walked away with a decent win. So
yeah, I was playing with my free play. So
that's true.
That's another nice thing when you can just take your free play and play with your free play.
Right. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about not just free play, but some of the other things that Harrah's Southern California gives us. Now, for quite a while, it's been going on for a few years. Thursday, they will give away gift cards. The day has changed, but right now it's Thursday. Yeah. They give away gift cards.
Initially, I think it was Sundays.
So I think you're right.
And then they switched to Thursdays. And it's their way of getting business, right?
Yeah.
Thursday's probably a slow night because, why would you come Thursday? You're probably coming Friday or Saturday on the weekend.
Right.
So they were trying to drum up business by, instead of your free play, you can get a gift card.
Right. And the gift cards are like TJ Maxx and Marshall's, Home Goods, but sometimes it's like Amazon, which you can use quite a bit, a Starbucks, which both of our wives like quite a bit,
right.
Home Depot
things cards,
like that.
Yeah. Some of them, Amazon card. I mean, everybody
you can
use that anywhere, right?
Well, it used to be what you'd do is you'd go in and you would show your player's card and your ID, at the promotions desk, and then they would give you a gift card, or sometimes they'd have to give you several gift cards because of the denominations.
Right.
You know,
I
that
think
kind of
100
thing.
was the most they had.
Yeah, something like
hundreds
that.
and 50s and 25s.
But starting a couple months ago, they changed it so it was electronic gift cards. So instead, what you would do is you would slide your card at the kiosk, and you would select gift card, and then within like 5 days or something, you'd get an email with the electronic gift card, and then you could use it that way.
Right. It's funny how that is too, because they say 7 to 10 days. Some days it comes like, you slide it Thursday and it's there by Saturday. And then other times I've had to ask, when's it coming? And it's like, okay, well, tomorrow's the 10th day.
Yeah.
10 business days.
Yeah.
So it's like, tomorrow's the 10th day. It'll be here tomorrow. And sure enough, it's always come within that 10 day. But it's so weird how some weeks it's right there and the next week it's not.
Yeah. So again, when they switched to the electronic gift card, all you had to do was slide your card at the kiosk and choose the gift card. Well, just this last week, actually starting April, the month of April, it was the first day of April, they now require you to earn 5 tier credits at the property that day before you qualify for the gift card. And what they're probably doing is they want to make sure you're actually in the casino and it's not somebody else sliding your card.
Right. And then you're electronically sent a gift card and you were never even there.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. But compared to the old days where you actually had to show ID and get a physical card.
And then you were there because you had to show ID.
Right. So only 5 tier credits. That's fine. And I have no problem with that policy. It's like, okay, they want to get people there. But keep this in mind, and I'm glad you were the one who actually brought it up initially. If you're there to play anyway, you just happen to show up and it's gift card day, well, that's fine. But if you're going just to get the gift card,
right,
and you think, oh, I have to play through 5 tier credits, so you run, I don't know, $25 through a slot or
$50 through a slot will get you 5.
Yeah, or a video poker, something like that, and then get the gift card and leave, that's going to kill your ADT, something that we talked about on the last episode. Because
it's like you came to the casino and you wagered $20.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So at the next day, if somehow you went through like, let's say $1,000, between the 2 days, it's $1,020. So it's only $510 each day, which significantly lowers your ADT. Yeah. So for us, if we did that, we're going to kill our ADT and then we won't get as much gift card in the future.
Yeah, we want and free play. It'll affect. So we've basically decided. Sometimes we would go up on Thursdays just to get the gift card. We've decided we're not going to do that. We're just going to forego the gift card because why screw up our ADT if we happen to be going on a Thursday or to play a whole night's worth of craps.
If
That's
I had
one
time
thing,
to play, if I could somehow got off work real early and had time to play, it might be worth it. But if a lot of times I'd get off work so late and I'd just run up there and get my gift card and go home.
Yeah, right.
And that's just, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So we wanted to tell the specific story. So, beware anybody else who goes to Harrah's, Southern California. But just as a general, keep this in mind. ADT is very important, and you don't want to do things that kind of mess up your ADT. Right. And this is an example of something that
Well, for us, you could go up there, you could get your gift card, you lower your ADT. So next month, your free play each day at Harrah's, because they have free play each day, is going to be lower.
Yeah.
So you're really killing yourself on all the other days.
Right.
Just to get that gift card.
Yep.
So, for us, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Give up a little bit that you're missing by not getting the gift card for rewards down the road. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to some voicemails. First up is Gary.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Gary from Augusta calling in about a quick trip report to Cherokee, North Carolina. My son and I went up there over the past weekend and had a great time. Beautiful facility. There are temperature checks on the way in, and you have to get a wristband. But once you're in, it was very clean. Everything kept getting wiped down. Everybody was reminded to wear their masks properly. So very nice. Want to know that the sports book is open. My son knows that for sure because he made his first losing bet. Also want to tell you the craps tables were $15 and $20 a piece, except for the one roll to win. It was a $5 table. It had plexiglass, so it was a full table at the roll to win. They also had 2 shoot-to-win tables, $5 a piece. One was near the sports book. The other one was the last machine before you entered the new construction zone where they're building onto the casino. I played them all. I think they're all broken because I didn't win on any of them. Got to figure that one out. On the road to win, I did play with a guy that was betting the don't, and he was loudly cheering for those sevens to come up and cheering every time one of them did. I thought that was pretty bad form, but whatever, he enjoyed. I spent a lot of time on the roulette table, managed to eke out a small win there, but I did see a guy come up buying for 20. He put about $20, $25 on the 19, and it hit 3 out of the next 4 rolls. So he wasn't there long, but he left very happy. Like the show, hope you guys keep it up, and I look forward to your next episode. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks for the report, Gary.
That's a pretty nice roulette win.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Exactly. Boy, 3 out of 4 times is boom,
yeah.
and then hit the
On
road.
19, who could guess that?
No
Mark?
one, Mike. No
I mean,
one.
who would guess 19? If I had to ask you what number is going to come up 3 out of 4 times the most, well, it would be what? 6.
6, of course. What am I thinking? It'd be
It'd
6.
be 6.
Certainly not 19.
No, 19. It's not even a question.
Now, I'm not making excuses for this don't player, but it's shoot to win. Sometimes you've got novices or, maybe they don't know the game and maybe that's how the person learned it and is not realizing that they shouldn't cheer. Probably not. It's probably just a jerk.
Probably just a jerk. Right?
If you are kind of learning the game, oh, good. This is how I won. And
He probably thinks nobody can hear him through the plexiglass.
That's the other.
Oh, they can't hear me.
It's not like I'm at a real table.
Right. No, I know exactly what that guy's thinking, Mark. He's thinking these other idiots should be betting the don't just like me.
Right.
That's what's going through a don't player's head.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
The come player's thinking, yeah, God, come on, let's get 5 numbers. Let's make these numbers. The don't guy's just thinking, these other people are idiots. I'm playing with the house.
Yeah. Mike's
I'm with the house.
Smiling as he's looking at me because I've been betting the don't so much recently. I'll tell you, Mike, when you left the other night,
I know.
For a good chunk of time, it was just me rolling. I should have rolled from the don't. There was nobody else at the table. If I had, I would have gone home a winner.
And if you had, what would have happened? What really would have happened?
Well, what really would have happened is I'd have the hottest roll of my life.
Well, right,
so, yeah,
exactly.
Of course. Yeah, and that's the story I'd be telling you on the podcast now. Yeah. All right, next call.
Hi, Mike and Mark. This is Eric from Upland, California. I just want to give you a quick trip report. I was there for March Madness, March 19th to the 21st, stayed at Palazzo. And the reason I'm calling is just inform you guys they have the fire bet now at one of the tables. From what the dealers were telling me is that they just installed it that previous Tuesday. So, of course, I played it. A maximum was of 25. I started out with 10, and I got up to 25. I didn't hit anything when I played on Friday and Saturday. The best I got was 4 on the fire. I tried. I've hit it in the past 3 previous times when Caesars and the Harris Casino had it, but didn't have any luck this time. I'll be going back, so trying again. It was nice to see the fire bet back on the strip at one of the major casinos. An interesting story. While I was there, some gentleman came up. He bought in for about $30,000, and he put 1,000 right away on the 12, 1,000 on the 2, and 500 on the 3 and 11. Sure enough, first row of 12 hits it. So he gets all excited, gives the shooter 100, puts him on the 12 also. Next row, he does the same bet. Next row, 11 hits that, and then next row, a 3 hits that. And then same thing, same bet he had out there. The shooter gets aces. So he quickly cashes out, and there I am still trying to get my money back from the 2-3 hours I was there playing. $25 at most of the tables at Palazzo and at the Venetian. The only thing, they don't grandfather you in, so they changed it to 50 once it got a little later in the day and once the tables got a little busy. So if you're there playing 25, they just changed it to 50. That's when I increased my fire bet, try to get some of my money back. But overall, it was a good trip, good eating, nice hotel, and just wanted to inform you guys about the fire bet now at the Palazzo. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I guess I'm not surprised about them not grandfathering players in.
No, that's a
because
thing of the past.
Yeah,
Mark.
well, especially now with fewer players at the table, and well, it is a thing of the past. Hopefully, once we're past all this, it'll come back in some form. But yeah, that is too bad.
I just think they're never going to have it again because they just raise it. If you leave, someone else comes. I mean,
yeah. That's true. And then, they don't have to keep track. And hey, how come that guy's,
you
only
don't get
betting
into the whole
25
controversy of, that guy's not betting, the same. Well, he was grandfathered in. Well, and that happens a lot, right? You see that a lot.
I'm glad to hear that fire bet's coming back to some more casinos on the Strip.
Right.
I'm trying to remember the last time we were able to bet 25 on a fire bet in Las Vegas. I know on some of your travels you were able to. Mike, think about this because I think I'm right here. Mandalay Bay had a fire bet that paid on 3 numbers, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I'm almost positive it had a $25 maximum on it. Does that ring a bell?
That might be true.
Okay. So
I can't say 100%, but I do kind of remember though, but there wasn't very many places in Vegas that had that.
Yeah.
That might be the only one I know of.
Yeah.
A lot of them had a, maximum of, in Vegas, most of the time they were 10.
10, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 25. The only time I ever played at a table that let you put 25 was in southern Indiana.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Now, when Eric was telling the story about this high roller hitting all those horn numbers on the come out roll, I thought maybe you'd like to tell the story about what happened to you or what didn't happen to you a few weeks ago when you stepped up to the craps table at Harris. Would you like to tell this story, Mike?
I didn't tell that story yet.
No, you haven't.
It's funny because I had written it down on a sticky note.
Yeah.
All the rolls. And I kept that for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I looked at it every day for 2 weeks. And then I finally convinced myself just throw that sticky note away because it was eating at my soul.
All right. Tell the story.
Well, I was trying to be conservative.
Right. It's been going so bad lately that you were thinking, okay.
It was one of those nights I went to get my free play.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
No,
it was
you weren't there.
I think it was maybe.
And I just had my free play money, so I didn't have a lot of money, but I thought I'm going to give it a go at the craps table. So I'm trying to be conservative. So the first shooter, I don't make my normal action.
Yeah, usually you've got money on the C&E.
I've got a $30 red, a 3-way 7. I've got $5 world for the dealers. I've got $40 any craps, $15 11.
And you like to kind of
total of $90.
And you kind of like to not necessarily parlay, but press things up.
I press them.
If
I
sevens or horn numbers come up.
If a 7 comes up, I add 60 more to make it a $90 7. If a 2 came up, I make the any craps. I go from 40 to 75.
Okay.
And I put 30 on the 11. I have this sequence, which I always do.
And the idea is that if somebody gets caught on a come out roll, just keeps rolling naturals, then you make a lot of money. By the time he finally establishes a point, you probably guaranteed to be up for the roll, maybe quite a bit.
And every once in a while, like somebody will roll, a 2 and then a 12 and then 3 7s in a row.
Yeah.
And I've been pressing the 7 the whole time. And by the time they establish a point, I'm up $600-$700, which I use to cover the number. So it's like a free roll, right?
Right.
That doesn't happen frequently, but it happens.
Yeah,
once a night, I'd say when we play. There's once a night where it's a good come out.
All right, continue with your story, please.
Well, I don't remember the exact sequence right now because it's been a few weeks.
And you threw away the sheet.
I threw away my piece of paper that I looked at for 2 weeks straight. But let me just tell you this: at the time, I was so livid, and the dealer, the first roll was a 2.
Right, and you've got no money out in the center. First roll's a 2, right?
And the dealer looks at me and is like, "Oh, Mike, you missed your." I said, "I know, but it's okay." And the next roll's like a 12, and it basically was about 6 or 7 craps numbers, 2 11s, and a bunch of 7s. And when I got home, I wrote down the exact sequence because it was fresh in my mind, and I figured out, what I would have bet initially and what I would have raised to each time. I mean, I do the same thing, so it wasn't like I embellished it or anything.
Yeah,
it was just my normal sequence of betting, and I had the 7 up to the max when he made the last 7, which is $600.
On the 3-way red, right?
3-way red, right? And, I had I don't know what I had, 600 or something on craps and several hundred on 11 or anything. Anyway, the bottom line is, had I made my normal bet And had she rolled the exact same sequence of numbers,
right.
I would have ended up, when she made her point of 8,
Established her point
when
of 8.
she established her point of 8, I would have been $9,240 ahead. $9,240 ahead.
Yeah.
For the roll, starting with $90. And I was playing my free play. So, I mean, I would have probably just cashed out and gone home.
Yeah, it was a weeknight, right? I wasn't there.
No, it was a weeknight. I just went to get my free play and I thought, well, I better play a little bit. And instead, I sat there and watched her roll all this stuff. And, after the first 3 or 4, I'm like, well, I'm not going to bet it now, right?
Of course.
The dealer's like, oh, yeah. No, she kept making them and making them. And everyone was like giggling because it was like, oh my God, he missed all this. Then she establishes an 8. So I didn't even have a line bet.
All right.
So I just placed the 8 and I placed the 6 and she 7'd. So I end up losing $120 of my 400 or whatever it was instead of making 9,000. And Mark, there is nothing more humiliating, I guess, than to have everyone watch you do that. And you're sitting there because they know how I play, right? I mean, the dealers know I don't even tell them to press. They just do it because they know my sequence.
Yeah, right.
Oh, God.
It's not like you lost anything. You just didn't
lost
win
$120.
Oh, well, I know. Okay, yes, you did on that. That's true. Right. And, the rolls might have been different if you'd made the bets and
right,
the pacing.
It might have thrown the sequencing off or something. Oh, my God. It was so... I looked at that paper I had it in my wallet.
I know.
I'd
You
take
showed
it out
to me.
every day and look at it and think to myself, you idiot. What has happened to me, Mark? I've become the biggest wuss.
It's true.
Is this what happens when you turn, your 60s?
Yeah, I think that's
60s?
probably it. Yeah, you're starting to lose it. Yeah, you have no control over it. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's a natural event, right? It's just a natural way things go.
That's part of maturing as you get into your golden years.
I'll be complaining about, all kinds of weird stuff here pretty soon.
All right. Well, I'm glad you finally got that story off your chest on the podcast.
I didn't really want to think about that ever again.
Yeah. Well, I thought I had to bring it up after Eric told this story. So.
Yeah. Oh man, that was, it gnaws at me, Mark.
All right. Then let's move on. Let's hear from Mr. Lucky.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Mr. Lucky from San Clemente, California. I've got a circa first weekend March Madness update. Let me tell you, Las Vegas is back. At least it was back in downtown Las Vegas. Place was packed. Stadium Swim was packed. Circa was packed. I do want to tell you the staff is fantastic. We went to our Saginaw Deli at 3:30 in the morning, mentioned you can bet on that, and sure enough got my shrimp cocktail for 99 cents, as Derek Stevens says you could. Nice. I do want to let you know 2 funny stories. One, we bet several of the games, did really, really well. The late game was Abilene Christian University, 14 seed against Texas 3 seed. We'd had a few cocktails, and Bobby Buckets convinced me and him to bet $5,000 on Abilene Christian plus the points. I'd say 99.9% of that sports book was on Texas. And boy, that was a sweet win. Not only did they cover, they won. The other reason for my call is I was the victim of a pretty elaborate phone scam, and Mr. Lucky pretty much has good street smarts. Waking up the next morning, the phone rang, said it was the front desk and that the credit card I'd given them didn't work. Gave them a couple of additional credit cards, didn't even think about it, that it wasn't a hotel employee. And when I returned back to Southern California, I was out about $22,000 on charges on the various credit cards. Of course, I'm not out any money. You don't lose any money. You just call it in. But it's a pain getting new credit cards. So my only recommendation, they said it was a pretty big scam going around, is if that ever happens to any of the listeners, just go to the front desk with your credit cards versus being dumb enough that I was and gave them over the phone. And the head of Circuit Security was very relieved that I gave him the story so he could let the other employees know. Thanks for all you do. Great show, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, as a rule, obviously, if somebody calls you,
Right.
you don't give information, right?
Right. If you've called somebody like your
Right.
bank and you know who you're talking to, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But if anyone ever calls you, you don't give them.
But I'll tell you, if you're in a hotel room,
right,
and you get a call and it says, "Hi, this is the front desk,"
Right.
your guard is down, right? You're not thinking that, it's on your cell phone or you're at home, and you just hang up. You're thinking, oh, the front desk, what's the problem? Oh, your credit card isn't working. Yeah, that's rough. I mean, I don't feel too bad, Mr. Lucky, but good warning.
That could definitely be one, especially if it was early and you just woke up.
It wakes you up. Hello.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be the time they'd call too, because they know that, right? They're going to catch people off guard.
Yeah.
That hurts us all.
Sure.
Him losing money. I mean, he didn't lose any money, but the credit card company did.
It trickles down.
It trickles down to all of us. We all end up paying for that, one way or another.
Yeah. So, this big bet that they made on Abilene Christian, he actually sent us a picture of the ticket. Boy, too bad they didn't take the money line on that $5,000.
Yeah. Yowza. I wonder what the money line on that was. That would have been
13-point underdogs. Yeah, that would have been huge.
And a 14 seed, that would have been a huge money line.
Yeah.
Of course, that'd be very scary.
Oh, my gosh. Well,
with the points, you're kind of like, okay,
sure, they could cover.
They could cover. I mean, what if they lost by 10? It's still that's a pretty good win for Texas, but, you win your bet. So, yeah, that's a sweet. I just looking at that ticket. That's a nice payout.
Yeah, it sure is.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's hear from our buddy, Dr. Taylor.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Taylor from New Mexico. Arkansas Razorbacks just made the Elite Eight. I went to Vegas last weekend for the first weekend. It was great fun, but, one thing that I hadn't thought of is my teams have never gone to the second week, so I didn't even plan on going back on the second week, but Elite Eight. FYI, I beat Dr. Mike, so I called his all-in after I made full house on the turn, and then he could have still beat me if the king came up. Other than that, everyone should go to March Madness first weekend in Vegas at least once in their life. Anyway, thank you guys. Hopefully I'll see you guys in person at a casino sometime. Bye.
Yeah, before we recorded last time, you and I got in an argument as to when Taylor actually hit that jack that gave him the full house.
Yeah, well, I wasn't certain, but I kind of thought it was the river, but it could have been the turn. I don't remember how the betting went.
Well, it goes, and plus, I think you were all in after the turn, and then, it comes up and you see everybody's hand, and then the next card gets dealt pretty quickly, and then it goes away, right?
Yeah,
so you were shell-shocked probably at
right.
that point.
Well, he's right. The first weekend now at Circa would be really good because you've got that huge sports book with all those screens and everything.
Yep.
I don't think it'd be that much fun for me if I was at a casino that had like just a so-so sports book.
Yeah.
But at a big place like that, it might be a little more exciting.
We've talked about it. I don't see either of us ever going to Vegas for the Super Bowl. It's just not something we're interested in. But eventually, I know we keep saying eventually we're going to go for March Madness first weekend.
I like to watch the games.
Exactly. But with March Madness, you can be at the craps table, you can be at Circa, all the screens all over. Every game is on, right? You can see it so you can keep playing your craps while you're watching the game.
Well, we watched the Final Four, semifinals at the casino.
We were actually at Harrah's during that incredible UCLA Gonzaga game. Oh my gosh, that was something else.
There was a big roar at the end.
There really was. The whole casino when he made that 3-pointer.
Everyone, everyone went crazy. I don't think people bet. Well, we had bet a little bit on UCLA.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we had UCLA and the points, so they definitely covered. Yeah,
so we did good. Yeah. But I don't think everyone was betting. It was just a fantastic game.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone was glued to those TVs.
Yeah, that was great. All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Tony from Utah. First time caller. Just wanted to call and give you guys a trip report. Got married back in February, and the wife and I decided to spend our honeymoon in Vegas, especially with everything going on with COVID. We just wanted to have a few days to relax. Stayed at the Vdara, which is the connector property to Aria. Super, super nice hotel. We loved it so much. All the rooms at the Vdara are actually modeled after studio apartments and other types of apartments, so you really get a lot of space when you stay there. Really cool place. The Vdara itself doesn't have a casino. However, you are like a 5-minute walk from the Aria's casino floor and the Cosmopolitan's casino floor and the Bellagio's casino floor. So coming from your room to all three of those places does not take that long. Decided to go over to the Park MGM. I'd never been there before. Walked inside. I knew that it was smoke-free. I wanted to see if it made a difference. Really was a really nice casino inside of there. I know some people kind of have a hang-up about it because it used to be the Monte Carlo and they don't like how it looks now, but I loved it so much. Played a little bit of bubble craps. A little funny story. I was sitting at the craps machine. I was going up and down. And then some random guy just walks on the other side of the machine. He looks at me and says, "Hey, man, let's make this money." I was like, all right, it's kind of a cold machine right now, not doing great. He sits down and he hit 4 points in a row. I mean, we were just winning over and over again. And then he makes money. He stands up, looks at me and says, "Hey, have a nice day. Thanks for that," and walks away. And I just thought that was so funny. I think that's just like the greatest. That's just what I love going to the casino for, is just meeting fun people, just having fun together and just getting to have those moments. Played a little video poker too, and then I had never played Pai Gow before, so I walked over to a face-up Pai Gow table. Super fun game. I love Pai Gow Poker, actually. I think it's one of my new favorite games. I love the pace of it. Definitely want to play it a little bit more. So my question to you, I'm a young man, haven't spent much time in the casino, and I just wanted to ask you, what do you think are some good tips for first-time or kind of more new to the game Pai Gow players? What are some strategies you think that work the best? And then also, what are some etiquette things that you really wish young players know before they get to the table? Loved it there. Made sure I gave my dealer a nice tip. Only played for about a half an hour. It was a $25 table. Only had $130. Still lasted for me for about 45 minutes. Loved it. Thank you guys so much. Love the show. Hope you have a great day. See ya. Hope to call you later. Bye.
Yeah, good.
Thanks.
The Vdara, when they were building it, the intent was to sell a lot of those rooms, well, as condos. Not rooms, but actually that was the idea. They were going to be condos. And then the financial crisis hit, I don't know, around 2008, something like that. So a lot of these that they intended to be condos, ended up being hotel rooms. So that's why you go in and say, wow, this is like an apartment,
Right.
So a lot of them are still like that. I'm thinking about this when he was playing the bubble craps and the guy came up and said, "Let's win some money," and then won and then walked away.
Yeah.
I think he was an angel.
I do too. I'll go with that.
Yeah.
He was an angel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens all the time. Same people that bump into me when I'm playing craps, they're all angels.
They're angels. Some of them are angels of death.
Yeah, right. And the lady who yelled at me, she was definitely an angel, Mark.
I had a friend, Andy, in college who we were walking down the street and he gave some money to a homeless guy. And I said, "Oh, why'd you give him the money?" And Andy said, "Well, he could have been an angel. I don't know."
Right.
You don't know.
Yeah.
So that's, pretty good advice. Oh, it could be an angel.
I always tell my girls that because of that movie, Bruce Almighty.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman plays God.
Right.
Right. But most of the time you see him, he's this bum holding a sign that
right.
makes no sense. And
Right.
I always say, see, that guy could be an angel. You
Yeah.
got to be nice to him. Give him a buck or two. I wish there were angels that came around and just like, okay, yeah, I think 6 points are coming. Here you go.
Let us know ahead of time.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, are you an angel? Because I need to know that if this is
if
true.
you're an
or not.
angel, I'd like to increase my betting.
Yeah, right. Yeah, let's talk about Pai Gow Poker. So Tony said that he was playing face-up Pai Gow Poker. We can't really talk about strategy as far as face-up goes because basically you just set your hand in the best way.
Right.
And these days, too, a lot of casinos are literally dealing all the hands face-up so that you don't touch the cards. So the dealer will actually set up your hand correctly. But if you're talking about regular Pai Gow Poker, that is where you set the hand before you see the dealer's hand, I guess we do have some recommendations. First, if it's a game where they collect the VIG, and a lot of them still are, be prepared for that. In regular, normal Pai Gow Poker, when you win a hand, the casino charges you 5% of whatever you bet. So if you made a $100 bet and you win, they collect $5 from you.
Right.
So be prepared to give them the VIG. Sometimes it's, $1.25, or, you may actually have some change out there. So just be ready and understand that you're going to have to pay 5%, when you win it.
Yeah, that's probably something that if you're not familiar with that, because you think it's like blackjack, I bet $20, I should win $20.
Yeah.
And that doesn't quite work that way.
Yeah.
But,
Kind of like blackjack, don't chastise somebody for the way they played their hand.
Right.
Because sometimes, it turns out if they'd played it differently, maybe they would have won instead of pushed, or pushed instead of lost.
There are a few hands, mostly dealing with like two pair, whether to play a pair and a pair or two pair behind, something on top. And, sometimes it can go either way.
Right. Those are the most common ones where you need to learn strategy is is when do you keep the 2-pair in the 5-card hand, and when do you split it up so you play one of the pairs in the 2-card hand? You can find plenty of advice on the internet. If you're actually interested in a book, this book's like 30 years old, but it's still very good. It's called Optimal Strategy for Pai Gow Poker. It's a book by Stanford Wong. And, he goes through virtually every single possible hand and how you could play it. Now, keep in mind, there's no perfect strategy because it will depend on what the house weight is for the casino.
Right.
The dealers are instructed on how to play their hands, and that can vary from casino to casino.
It can vary quite a bit sometimes.
Yeah, so, keep that in mind. And finally, we'd say tip. It's glad to hear that you were tipping, Tony. Pai Gow poker players don't tip as often as a lot of other players.
Well, there are a lot of pushes.
There are a lot of pushes, but even so, you see way more people tipping at blackjack, even craps.
Right.
But Pai Gow poker, you just don't see it that much. And all you have to do is, put a buck in front of your bet for them. They won't charge the vig for like $1 tip, on the dealer bet, something like that. So yeah, be sure to tip.
Otherwise, there's not too many things you can do etiquette-wise that are wrong in Pai Gow. Everyone's playing against the dealer, so you can root for whatever you want. Yeah. You can look at other people's cards most of the time.
If you've already set your hand, they generally will let you look at.
You can lean over and look at somebody else's hand. That kind of thing. We've been at tables where somebody will say, I got the joker, so everyone knows the dealer doesn't have a joker.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
And they don't really frown
No,
on
they
that.
don't, because again, they're taking this 5%. Right? So, even if you do know a little information, anything else you'll probably learn at the table. Like there are some games where all the cards have to be dealt out and they have to verify that, there are 4 left. You can't touch your cards till the dealer says, okay, even though they might be right in front of you. Things like that
That's
you'll learn.
Pretty consistent.
But, you'll find out quickly, yeah.
And it is a fun game.
Oh, Pai
Gow's fun.
It's great for just sitting and drinking.
Yeah.
Right? That's like Tim Lawson, push, drink.
Yeah.
So,
if you want to make, your couple $100 last a long time, even at a $25 table, you can at Pai Gow with a little bit of luck.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's hear from our buddy Marty.
Mark and Dr. Mike, how you doing? It's Marty from Reno. Been a long time since I called in. Hey, just a quick little update from Reno. Things are finally getting back to almost normal here after the pandemic. Hit up the Row, which is the El Dorado and Silver Legacy, the Nugget, which is over in Sparks, and the Pepper Mill, all in the last week. Full, all tables open. I think a lot of this is March Madness people in town. But again, it's good to see, all the tables open, all the pits open on Friday, Saturday, Sunday anyway. Hey, little tip for those craps players coming to Reno. At the El Dorado, they have pretty typical, like they have your 3 on an end at the dice table, but they actually put a piece of paper towel or a napkin down in the 2 spots next to sticks. So one right and one left of stick. And they reserve those spots for 7 stars players. So if you walk up to the table and they say, hey, the table's full, if you happen to be a 7 stars, just let them know, say, hey, I'm a 7 stars, and they squeeze you in. So they put 4 on an end if you're 7 stars. The tables are still $10 to $25 minimums, 3, 4, 5 times odds everywhere here, but it's pretty sweet that they're actually, making kind of a special rule to get the 7 stars on the table. Anyway, love the show, guys. Talk to you later.
Yeah, good. Thanks for the update.
Yeah.
Things are slowly starting to get back there. He's talking about Reno. We've heard reports from Las Vegas, too, that things are slowly starting to move a little bit
opening
back
up a little more.
Yeah. And in fact, here at Harrah's Southern California, just this last week, they've relaxed their protocols quite a bit. There's no more temperature check at the door anymore. The craps tables now you can have 4 on each side.
Right. Most of the machines are open.
Yeah, right. They don't have
so,
every other machine turned off, that kind of thing. Right. Now, they still require masks, and they encourage social distancing. So,
and I think they should for quite a while.
I agree.
But for the most part, it is open.
Yeah.
So, who would like this where 7 stars get in? Lawrence, the guy who plays out at Harrah's Rincon.
Oh, yeah.
He was complaining about, like at the cashier, there's this huge line. And there used to be a 7-star line, so you didn't have to wait.
Right.
And it's same at the buffet, at the cafe now. Yeah. There's no buffet. There's a huge line. There used to be a 7-star line. You kind of go to the front. He would love that he could get on a craps table.
Yeah, well, that's pretty typical of a lot of casinos. They've done away with the special lines for the higher tiers,
Right.
just because it's sort of not practical anymore. If you still had those lines, you could just have 7 stars people going in and nobody else, ever getting called. So I can kind of understand it.
Yeah,
Eventually,
especially
those
at
will
a
come
cafe
back.
when you're only seating half the tables
Right.
or something. I mean, a regular person might never get in,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
I wonder when buffets are coming back, Mark.
Yeah, the good question, Mike. If you're talking about casino buffets, I don't know, because in the olden days, they used to be a loss leader, right? It was just to get people in there, and it was also to feed them fast and get them back onto the tables.
Sure.
And now, the casinos are so concerned about every single thing making money. They've forgotten about loss leaders. On top of that, the pandemic, I don't know. I think it's going to be a while.
May never come back.
Yeah.
And, you can't really have a buffet where you get served, where there's somebody behind there saying, and you say, oh, I need potatoes, and they scoop
Kind of like a cafeteria kind of a thing.
Yeah, like a cafeteria.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be cost prohibitive. It'd be so expensive to have 30 employees back there all the time.
Yeah, and some places have kind of toyed with the concept of it's just all you can eat. Just keep ordering from the waiter or waitress, and even that's not like, nobody.
That would be hard.
Yeah.
And packaging stuff. So
Yeah.
it's not open like there's a thing of potatoes, but it's in a bowl and it's covered with cellophane.
Yeah.
That would be cost prohibitive.
I think they are doing that at Wicked Spoon, at Cosmopolitan, which it actually was kind of always that way. It was the individual portions. So I believe they're back running again. So, in some ways they'll come back.
At Caesars
Right,
had
that was
a lot
big
of
one.
individual portions
right.
too. Not all of it, but a lot of it was.
But when if you and I went to a buffet, we weren't looking for a high-end buffet. I mean, we've been to them before, but we just want to get in and out. Like that one at Planet Hollywood, I love going to that buffet because, it's downstairs, you get in, you get what you want, and you leave.
Right.
They even had serve yourself drinks, which is my favorite. So, you're
you
right.
like the fact that you don't have to wait for a drink.
I don't want to wait for any. We were talking earlier in the show that just, okay, let's go home. Oh, should we stop at the cafe and eat? No,
Mark,
that's torture.
You waited 50 minutes for a taco at Jack in the Box. I think that should have.
I'm a hypocrite.
That should have changed your whole outlook on life.
Yeah.
You should have been at the end. You should have said, "Hey, this wasn't that bad. 50
you're
minutes.
right.
That's not that bad."
I'll take it. All right, a little more information on Reno. Let's hear from Julio.
Hello, guys. This is Julio from the Bay Area. Just came back from Reno. Wanted to give you guys a quick update. I went over to the new properties that Caesar bought out, was the Silver Legacy, El Dorado, and Circus Circus. Just a couple quick things. Circus Circus no longer has table games. It's all slots. And these casinos were pretty packed. They say they're at 50% full now, but they're pretty packed. And craps tables were minimum $50 at the Silver Legacy. A little bit out of my price range. El Dorado was, I believe, $25. Almost all the blackjack tables were either $50 or $25. Definitely single deck was $50, and almost all the tables were blackjack 6 to 5. So it wasn't that great. And they still haven't been able to transfer your Vegas points from Caesars to Reno or something like that. So everything would be transferable in June, they said. So whatever you're earning in Vegas, it's for Vegas, and whatever is for Reno is Reno. But I do want to also talk to you guys about something that I experienced at the craps table. It's happened to me before, but I just think it's almost funny when it happens to me. Everybody was 7-ing out. It was just a bad roll after bad roll. So I decided to go dark side on the don't pass line. After a few numbers, I keep putting up the numbers. So I have like a 4, a 5, and a 6. And I lay odds behind it as well. But the guy who rolled, he ends up rolling each of my numbers, kills each of my numbers. I figured maybe he's a hot roller, finally a hot roller. So I placed all the numbers to see if I could get some money back. And he immediately 7s out. The craps dealer looks at me and says, "Man, that was a rough one." He told me that's what I call a dice chokehold. I figured that's a good name for it, dice chokehold. When I lost all my don't come bets Then I flip back to the place bets, and he sevens out immediately. So, anyways, you guys have a good one. Keep up the good work.
Dice chokehold. I like that
I like
name.
that.
Anybody who has ever switched in the middle of a roll, either started on the don't and went to the pass or vice versa, has fallen victim to that. It's like, oh, it's going terrible. And as soon as I switch over, then it changes.
But remember a couple of weeks ago when I switched?
Yeah. Hey, attention, everybody. Mike was betting on the don't.
And that is the first time on one shooter.
Correct.
I bet the don't because it was going so bad. And that was the first time I've done that probably in over 10 years.
It's very possible, yeah.
We went on the don't, and don't comes, and he
repeated them. He just kept repeating the numbers. Yeah,
I think he wiped me out on 3.
I think you're right.
And then I switched and just started putting it on the come line and taking odds, and it was a great roll.
Yeah, he kept rolling.
He kept rolling. I ended up winning money, and I so expected, to have a dice chokehold.
Right.
But instead, I actually won, and you kept on the don't and got hammered on that
that's
roll.
true. It's one of those times where it did not work.
And that
well
does
for
not
me.
usually happen, and that's why I don't like it, because switching is a very dangerous thing.
Yeah. Well,
and
emotionally, it's dangerous.
Emotionally, right. And it worked out good for me that time. I was pleased. But.
Well, it sounds like Eldorado and Caesars, they're still having trouble merging their players.
Yeah, their players club stuff.
So hopefully that won't take, what did he say? Something like June. So I guess you'd think it'd be something they would have, what do I know? Anyway, beware that, if you've earned points at one or the other, you might not be able to spend them everywhere yet.
The way I see it, a lot of this has to do with, computers, and it'll just never happen.
Okay.
I mean, it's impossible for a computer to coordinate anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Keep in mind the computers are the reason we have this podcast.
And exactly. You made my point right there, Mark. Think of how good this would be if we didn't have computers. It boggles my mind. They have all these IT people, and still it's all screwed up.
It's very difficult, Mike. It's hard, all right?
It's like rolling an 8. How hard is it? Come on.
It shouldn't be that hard.
I mean, you can make a 9 right back. But you can roll all night and not roll an 8. It's ridiculous.
I can't figure it out. All right. Last call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Bert from Virginia again. The missus and I just got back from a 4-day junket to Biloxi, Mississippi. Not sure if you guys have ever been there, but it was actually surprising. We flew down with Caesars Rewards, stayed at Harrah's Gulf Coast. Pretty small casino there, but they put me up. Nice room, great pool. Went and checked out the Golden Nugget. Pretty nice, but the one that surprised me was the Palace. What a nice casino. Completely smoke-free, which was just fantastic. Beautiful casino, pretty large. They have that new digital craps table where no chips, where you're playing on the pads and the sort of semi-glass top. So that was kind of interesting. I think that was a $5 table. All the rest of their tables were, I think, $15. At Harrah's Gulf Coast was $15. Golden Nugget was $15. We went over to the Beau Rivage, which is the MGM property there. Beautiful property. Again, it was $15 there. So we only played craps at the Palace. Didn't win a nickel on my trip. Had some great food. If you ever get down there, the Half Shell Oyster House, oh my goodness, fantastic. Charbroiled oysters, amazing. Just a great trip. It's cool to have all the casinos there, and then the beach is, 50 yards away. There's the Gulf Beach, so you can hang out on the beach if you want. So just a fantastic trip. Since they flew me down, I'm always curious, how much should you play at the casino that brings you down? I'm not a huge player at Caesars, but got some free rooms in Vegas. I've gotten some comps and things, but not nearly a player like Dr. Mike. But they flew me down for free, so you can't beat that. But I'm always curious, what's reasonable to play there as opposed to wanting to check out some other casinos. Just looking for some insight on that. Enjoy the show. Look forward to hopefully catching up with you guys on a trip to Vegas at some point. Otherwise, I will be listening and talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, thanks, Bert. That's a great question. How much play do you need to get, especially if they've flown you there? It's not just a free room, but flying.
If there's no requirement, if up front they say, we're going to fly you down there and give you a room and you need to play X amount of whatever to qualify for that. Otherwise, you have to reimburse us for the room or flight or something. Then you have to play that. But if there's nothing stipulated, my advice is never, ever, ever feel obligated to gamble more there than you would if you were just on a regular trip.
Yeah, look at the fine print. It might not give you a number,
Right.
but it might say something kind of vague like, if you don't provide a significant amount of play, we'll charge you,
Yeah, a lot of times it says based on play.
Yeah, right.
And if it says that, you need to check with the host. Okay, what does that mean?
Yeah, and if you've got a good host, you could say, hey, look, this is our first time in Biloxi.
Right.
We want to check out these other places,
Right.
but we appreciate you flying us here. What kind of play do you expect? If you got a good host, they'll let you know, okay, we need, this amount for this number of hours, that kind of thing.
To have you back.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd penalize. I mean, I haven't heard of that. Maybe it happens, but I haven't heard of a casino penalizing somebody. Oh, you didn't play enough. But they might not send you another offer.
Well, okay, those are two different things, right?
Right.
Either, hey, you've got to pay us right now, or on the other side, maybe they just, like you said, they won't
just
send you
don't
another
an
offer again. Yeah.
But honestly, I've fallen into that trap before where they give you a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And they fly you out and you feel like you need to play there and
yes.
give them a lot of action,
Mhm,
right?
Right.
But don't exceed your set amount. So if you say, hey, I brought 1,000 and I'm not going to lose more than that, don't lose your 1,000 and say, oh, I got to give them some action. I'll go get
Right.
some more money.
Right.
That's just not a good policy.
Yeah.
I'd rather never be invited back
Yeah.
than to exceed my comfort zone.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Very good.
And
yeah.
I think people fall into that. I think I know I do. I feel like,
it depends.
I should play there.
Depends
right?
on your personality, right?
Right.
Some people say, "Oh, I really owe it to him." Others will think, I'm here already. Forget about it. But
It's like when you go to a condo presentation, some people will sit through the whole thing because you feel like, well, I'm getting the Vegemite whatever sample at the end and I really should sit through this. And other people will be like, just give me that sample, I'm out of here, So
yeah.
I'm kind of
a Vegemite sample, huh?
Vegemite sample. I'm kind of the person that, feels obligated.
Right,
Yeah, they're
right.
giving me some Vegemite. I gotta stay and listen to this 4-hour presentation on something I'll never buy.
I think I'll just say, keep your Vegemite, all right?
For you, it'd have to be like a washing machine or something like that.
Washing machine. Something I'm not going to actually buy for my household.
No, something you need to be given.
That's right. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring PayPal donations. James, Kurt, and the Color Up YouTube channel featuring all sorts of craps video. If you haven't already checked that out, please do so. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks at youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings or our list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonthat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review of the show. We love getting your feedback. Dr. Mike.
Are you glad baseball's here, Mark?
Yeah, I've been enjoying it quite a bit.
Yeah, I have too. I've been watching some games, but the Padres started off 3-0.
Yeah.
I thought, okay,
Yeah,
now
first-
they sit at 4-3.
Yeah, oh
now
well.
it's early,
So early,
and
yeah.
everything and that, but these last couple of games they have not looked good. They haven't been
it's
hitting, and now Tatis is hurt.
All right, just relax.
And I'm already in a depressed mood about that.
Are we going to the casino this weekend?
Maybe.
We are.
Maybe.
No, we are.
Maybe. I have to go and get my free play for sure.
Exactly.
And I'll probably, get yelled at and bumped into. And
Yeah. Just smile, Mike. You're a lot prettier when you smile.
Anyway, basketball season ended great.
Yeah.
College
it was terrific.
basketball.
Yep. Mhm.
And baseball's here. So we're in a happy zone as far as sports go. And hopefully we'll get to Biloxi. Hearing Bert talk about it and stuff.
Yes.
We really need
We
to
keep talking about how Biloxi is like our one. And, Tim is going. I think he's going this month. If you want to make a last minute plans.
Yeah, he's coming from, the Washington, D.C. area. He doesn't have that far to go.
Well, all right. But still, still a jaunt.
I don't know. It's just a little early.
One day.
for us.
One day. Yeah.
Maybe this October, I think we should do something.
We'll plan
if
a
not,
trip. Here's coming
if
up,
not
yeah.
there, maybe Vegas.
Yeah, we'll plan
again,
something up coming soon.
Especially if it opens up and things get back to normal. They're talking about California going back to somewhat normal by June 15th,
Yeah,
right?
that'd be great. Yep.
Yeah, except for mask. He said, he might open everything. And so if that's the case, the casino will be back to 6 people per side.
Yep.
And,
When we can start making plans for a trip.
Yeah, and then we should have a trip. When was the last time? Well, I'm answering my own question. You went there at
Well, okay, but I mean, it wasn't a get together. It wasn't like, hey, listeners, meet us there.
Yeah,
it was just kind of secret trips.
And when I went, it was a quick, in and out one day.
Yeah.
So we need to go for a whole weekend.
Yeah.
Stay there.
Yeah, it's coming. All right, thanks for listening.
Good night.
Oh, sweet mother, I love you, Dr. Mike.